So first inspections of this heat pump. Comes with the old destructions as well. So I've had the saw out. What I'm thinking about doing, it's got the inlet and the outlet. It's sat in an absolute treat. All of the links down in the comment section. Right, so I got me rubber boots because Mrs. Whisperer sat in the car and she said, "You're only going to be 2 minutes, ain't you?" A little bit open there and flat out here. Whisperer don't generally get leaks, but we got to check. Made me a 3D printer. Also means that I can continue to do a little bit more feeding over the winter. But I'm sure this guy was going to be more than happy about that anyway. 80 brother of the one that I've just put on the main pond. So, hello everyone, welcome back. James the Koi Whisperer. And today I'm going to be fitting my new heat pump for my main pond. Do you need a heat pump for a pond? Well, I've never owned one and I've had this pond running for the past 5 years. But now I've decided to put a heat pump on there. So without further ado, let's just crack straight on with this video. Bosh. Right, so I recently purchased this air source heat pump. It's basically a big brother of the one that I've already got on the grow on pond. I'm going to do a little bit of an unboxing of it and then try to get it fitted today. I'm not sure how things are going to go. So my plans are to get it fit down here in situ. I'm a little bit worried on restricting on the pipe work of getting it in place. Have I got enough room here to do what I need to do? I want to keep this existing ball valve in place so I can isolate it from the pond. I can isolate it in the filter house with this bit of pipe, so I disconnect it here, cut it here, put an extension on to the heat pump and then reconnect it back to this pipe so it returns back to the pond. It sounds a lot easier than what it actually is. To start with, I'm going to do a little bit of an unboxing of the actual heat pump itself. Right, so first inspections of this heat pump. It does look very, very impressive, not going to lie. Comes with all the little bits and pieces that you need to get it hooked up. Comes with the old instructions as well. I'm not the best at reading, so I'll just crack right on with it and do what I need to do. It looks like control panels here on the front, nice and tidy, LCD screen, Aquaforte, 9.5 kilowatt. Back of the unit itself, it's got the inlet and the outlet, little caps on there. I could quite easily put a rubber boot over that if I choose to. It does come supplied with the pipe work to go straight into there, ready to rock and roll, just depending on if I can get a pipe to fit inside of here all right. Not really sure what this is for. I would have said it's something to do with the anti-defrost on it because this heat pump is a full inverted heat pump, 9.5 kilowatt. And by the instructions, it looks like the drainage kit just goes in the side here, which I just pulled out the plug, and then that's for the drainage. But I'm not really worried about that because where I'm fitting it, it will just go straight down to the drain I've got in place anyway. Right, so I've had the saw out. I've got some pipe work and bits and pieces what I've got left just to try to play around with this. I'm just draining out the pipe work itself. I've isolated it off from the pond. I've been playing around with a bit of pipe work, some extra fittings to get it up to pressure pipe. Just playing around really at the moment. What I'm thinking about doing is the 90 down at the bottom. I'm going to cut the pipe here, use this bit of straight pipe, 1.5 inches, because all the fittings that I've got left is 1.5 inches and this is 2 inch. And to be fair, it makes it a lot easier for me to convert it to 1.5 inches running through the heat pump itself than what it does trying to get it up to 2 inch when it's unnecessary need to be 2 inch. So the pipe work, what I'm thinking is get a reducer from 2 inch to 1.5, which I'll have to go to the koi dealer to get that. I'm going to cut this off here, get this bit of pipe put in place, which will connect to that 90 down there at the bottom, and then just go from there and see what we can come up with. Right then, this is what I've come up with. So I need to go and get myself some rubbers, because what I'm going to do is put a 2 inch straight rubber there, because 1.5 inch pipe work and 2 inch pipe work, the outside of the 1.5 inch actually fits, wax on a rubber boot over that if I get a 2 inch, because it's the same size pipe. And then down here where I've converted it from 2 inch to 1.5 inch, I'm going to get a 2 inch to 1.5 inch reducer and put a rubber boot over that, so I can just disconnect the whole system if I want to. I can disconnect it from these as well, but I think if I just whack a rubber boot there and a rubber boot there, it'll be fine and makes my life nice and easy. And if I want to, I can cut this ball valve out, save the 2-inch ball valve, because these things ain't cheap these days, so I can use that for a different project later down the line. And I can take the glue out of that, because I had to cut that pipe super tight, but I can heat that up and take the glue out if I need to. And to be fair with you, it's sat in an absolute treat. It's got plenty of airflow around the back of it, and it's got plenty of airflow around the front of it. So that's what you call the Aquaforte Hammer Bosch. And I know I've said this already, but for the people that don't know, I actually purchased this heat pump from UKKS Supplies, and I actually got a £50 discount off of the actual product itself. I'll leave the discount code up there if anyone is interested of checking it out. But I wanted to mention as well that you can also pick up any sort of heat pump that you order from UKKS Supplies. You can pick it up from Southwest Koi as well. Not just only that, if you are interested of getting yourself a heat pump, UKKS Supplies actually offer finance as well, so you don't actually have to outlay the money all in one go. You can pay monthly for it, and you can have it delivered from UKKS Supplies, or you can collect it from Southwest Koi as well. So you can grab yourself a discount code up there. You can get it on finance if you choose to, but that's enough yibbity yabbada. Let's get back straight into the video, because I need to go up to the Koi dealers and get myself some rubbers. Not very often that I use rubbers, but I need to get myself some. And all of the links down in the comment section and in the description of the video if you want to check out UKKS Supplies website and see what other heat pumps they got available. Right, so I just nipped up to get myself some bits. I need a 2-inch, and I need 2-inch to 1.5 inch. Happy days. Right, so just have a little nose while we're up here, see what's available. Even though I've seen loads of fish in the past couple of weeks, but it's always nice to have a look up at Chris's place. ACM Koi. Still got that kajaku I like in here, mine. Still got some nice fish in here as well. And you've got to love all of the plants growing out of the shower filters up here. The absolute hammer. So I got me rubber boots, but while I'm here, I always like having a little bit of a nose round at Chris's pond. This is the sort of inspiration of me building my pond, really. When I first ever got into the hobby, I come up to this place and I was blown away by it. But the 2 showers at the back, that's the reason why I got 2 showers on my pond, because I just really like the look of it. It's not everyone's cup of tea, but I really like it. Got some big ass koi in here as well, not gonna lie. I've had a few out of here myself over the years. But that being said, I suppose we best get on back, because Mrs. Whisperer sat in the car and she said, "You're only going to be 2 minutes, ain't you?" But whenever I come up here, I end up spending, well, I like having the koi chat with Chris himself. He don't like being on camera, but he's a top bloke. That being said, let's crack on. Bosh. So I've popped on that rubber down there, 2-inch to 1.5 inch. I've popped that rubber on there, 2-inch straight over the 1.5 inch. It's just bubbling out some air out of the system. I'm going to go down and check for some leaks. Hopefully there's no leaks. Whisperer don't generally get leaks, but we got to check. Nothing there. Dry as a bone. Happy days. Still air coming out of the system at the moment. And I suppose the next job really, got to get the electrician to hook up the wires for this. Now I haven't got my mics on, so I apologise, but before people say I need to fit a bypass, etc, etc, well, my bypass is actually in my filter shed. So I have 2 returns here that return this side of the pond, but I also have an existing system that runs up over through a secondary heat system. So if the heat pump ever fails, this one will play a good backup part. It runs down through there, and I can isolate it there, and I can isolate it there. So if I ever want to bypass the system, I just turn this valve over, open up these 2 fully, and it comes direct from the pump up over, down, and returns straight there. At the moment I've got it sort of a little bit open there and flat out here, so that's my bypass. Yeah, just got off the old phone call to my brother-in-law, who's an electrician, that he's going to be sorting out the wiring for that, because I don't mind messing around with a bit of pipe work, because you know if you get a leak with water that you can see the leak, you can fix the leak. But the difference with wiring up electrics, if something goes wrong, something goes bang. And I don't fancy having any bangs. So I'd rather get it wired up properly, but he can't come until Monday. So unfortunately, I got to wait 2 days because he told me he don't work the weekends. And I told him, I'm the whisperer. I need it done today. I'm only joking. That being said, look, I'm just going to spin you around, show you the koi real quickly, because I'm more than happy with that heat pump, how I've got it sat in place. And yeah, well made up with it. But not going to lie, the koi are going to love me even more than what they already do once I give them a little bit more heat. I'm not planning to heat stupid temperatures. I'm planning just to keep it stable throughout the winter months. I'm not planning to keep it so they're roasting like a hot tub or jacuzzi. It's mainly for when I come out of the winter, sort of leading into the springtime. Hopefully that it helps me out and the fish sort of stay a little bit more happier. It also means that I can continue to do a little bit more feeding over the winter. Not massive amounts of food, but I'm planning to just constantly trickle in with the fish feeder that I've got on the side of the pond there. Just hopefully keep their immune systems up and keep the water temperature above sort of 10-12 degrees. I don't really want it getting any colder than that. Hopefully it plays a bit of a benefit to me. Never really used a heat pump through a winter time myself. Don't know if it's advantages or if it's just a big electricity bill, but I'm sure this guy was going to be more than happy about that anyway. And to be fair with you, it looks pretty tidy down the side of the pond. I always planned to fit a heat pump on this pond. Well made up with how everything's gone today. Another job off the list. And the heat pump that I'm using over here is the main reason why I went with the heat pump over there, because this is the sort of baby brother of the one that I've just put on the main pond. So I'm super happy with this heat pump. It's been faultless. It's holding the pond currently at 18 degrees. I have started to bring the temperature down slightly. The main reason for that is because I've got no covers on the pond, and I have noticed over the past week or so that the heat pump itself, because of ambient temperatures dropping down a hell of a lot faster now than what it is a few months ago, and I've just found that without having a sort of cover over the pond with the shower filter, the heat does escape during the evenings and especially at night time. So something for me to bear in mind. Do I put a cover over the pond? Some sort of extra protection, if you know what I mean. I was going to also say, my mate Scrags made me a 3D printer on the old RS fish feeder. The food was sort of flicking out onto the side. Now with this sort of add-on 3D printer, certainly does help keep the food direct going straight down. There's a little wedge in the back of it just to keep it on solid. It's like a little plate really. I could have glued it on, but I didn't really want to glue it on. That being said, the feeder itself, I'm more than happy with it. Working amazingly, and yeah, everything's going brilliant here. I just wanted to mention as well, if there was anything else on UK Koi Supply's website that you were interested in, there is a unique discount code with my links down in the description of the video. That's a normal code up there, James the Koi Whisperer 5, that allows you to get 5% off anything off the website. But if you're specifically after a heat pump, the 5% doesn't work on a heat pump. Got a unique discount code that give you £50 off. So it's James the Koi Whisperer 50. You can use both codes at the same time if you're buying maybe some filter start or bacteria or a sock net or fish food. If you're using it purely just for a heat pump, use the code James the Koi Whisperer 50. And if you're using it for anything else you purchase at the same time, use James the Koi Whisperer 5. And that will allow you to get 5% off anything off their website. So if that didn't make sense, basically, if you're buying two things, a heat pump and something else on their website, use both codes at the same time and both codes will work. But if you're only using for the heat pump, just use the 50. And if you're using just for anything else, use the 5. Does that make sense? If there's not been enough yibbity yabbada in this video to start with, I'm going to wrap this one up because I got other things to get on with, and I like to make sure my videos go out in sequence so I know where I'm at, if that makes sense. I don't know if it does make sense. But that being said, if I don't see you in a week, I'll see you through a window. Thank your mother for the heat pump. Bosh.